Dr. Alina Rodriguez had been working at the space station for 3 years, but she had never seen anything quite like this. The transport ship landed with a gentle hum, and out stepped what looked like a teenage girl, except her skin sparkled like crystal and changed colors with every step she took. The girl's name was Zara, and she was from a planet called Viridian. This was the first time anyone from her world had ever visited humans. Lena felt nervous but excited. She had studied alien cultures for years, but this was her first real chance to meet someone from another planet. Zara looked around the station with wide, curious eyes. Her skin shifted from blue to green to purple like a living rainbow. She wore simple clothes that seemed to be made from the same crystal material as her skin. When she spoke, her voice sounded like wind chimes mixed with normal speech. "This place feels so quiet," Zara said, touching the metal walls. "Where are all the voices?" Alina didn't understand what she meant by voices, but she smiled and tried to make Zara feel welcome. "Let me show you around your new home for the next few months." Space station was huge, with different sections for living, working, and research. Alina explained the rules as they walked. "This red door means you can't go in there. The yellow areas are for emergencies only. Please don't touch the blue panels. They control important systems." Zara nodded, but Alina could tell she wasn't really listening. The alien girl was too busy staring at everything around her. Her skin kept changing colors, which Alina learned meant she was feeling strong emotions. They reached Zara's room, which had been specially prepared with soft lighting and comfortable furniture. "This is where you'll sleep," Alina said. "There's a communication device here if you need anything." But Zara had already wandered off. She was standing in front of a large window that looked out into space. "The stars look different from here," she whispered. "They don't sing the same songs." Lena felt sorry for her. Being away from home for the first time must be scary, especially when home was an entire planet away. "It takes time to get used to a new place," she said gently. "I'm here to help you." The first few hours seemed to go well. Zara ate dinner with Alina and some other researchers. She asked lots of questions about human food and why they cooked it instead of eating it raw. Her curiosity was charming, and everyone enjoyed talking with her. But then things started to go wrong. While Alina was showing Zara the main laboratory, the alien girl suddenly stopped walking. Her skin turned bright red, and she started making a humming sound that got louder and louder. The lights in the room began to flicker. "What's happening?" Lena asked, but Zara didn't answer. She was staring at a small plant that was growing in a glass container. Without warning, she pressed her hands against the glass and closed her eyes. Suddenly, the plant began to grow rapidly. Its leaves turned bright green, and flowers bloomed in seconds. But it didn't stop there. The plant kept growing until it broke through the glass, sending pieces flying everywhere. "Dara, stop," Lena shouted. But the alien girl seemed to be in a trance. Other plants in the lab started growing too. Vines crawled across the floor and flowers opened so fast they made popping sounds. Alina ran to the emergency button and pressed it. Alarms started ringing throughout the station. Security guards rushed in, but they stopped when they saw what was happening. None of them had ever seen anything like this. Finally, Zara opened her eyes. The humming stopped, and the plant stopped growing. She looked around at the mess she had made, and her skin turned a pale blue color. "I was just trying to help them," she said quietly. "They seemed so lonely." Lena looked at the destroyed laboratory. Broken glass covered the floor, and plants were growing everywhere. It would take days to clean up. When she looked at Zara's face, she could see that the girl hadn't meant to cause trouble. "On my planet, we talk to plants," Zara explained. "We help them grow when they're sad." "I thought these plants were crying." Lena realized that what seemed like bad behavior was actually Zara trying to be kind. But intention didn't matter when it came to safety rules. The other researchers were already talking about how dangerous it was to have an alien who could make plants grow out of control. Dr. Williams, station commander, arrived looking very serious. He surveyed the damage and then looked at Elena. "This can't happen again," he said firmly. "If she can't follow our rules, she'll have to go back to her planet." Elena felt her heart sink. She had been so excited about this cultural exchange program. It was supposed to help humans and aliens understand each other better. but now it seemed like it might fail before it even really started. That night, Alina sat in her room thinking about what had happened. She had studied many alien cultures, but she realized that reading about them was very different from actually living with someone from another world. Zara's people had abilities that humans didn't have, and they saw the world in completely different ways. She made a decision. She would find a way to help Zara learn human rules without crushing her natural instincts. It wouldn't be easy, but Alina believed it was possible. The future of human-alien relationships might depend on how well she could help one confused alien girl learn to live in a human world. The next morning would bring new challenges, but Alina was determined to make this work. She just hoped she could figure out how to do it before something even worse happened. Alina woke up early the next morning, hoping yesterday's plant incident was just a one-time problem. She had spent half the night reading everything she could find about Viridian culture, but the information was limited. Most of it was just basic facts about their planet and nothing about how their young people behaved. She found Zara in the dining hall, sitting alone at a table. The alien girl's skin was a dull gray color, which Alina had learned meant she was sad or worried. Other researchers were eating breakfast at different tables, but they kept glancing over at Zara nervously. "Good morning," Alina said, sitting down across from her. "How did you sleep?" Zara looked up with those strange, shifting eyes. The metal walls crying all night," she said. "They're so cold and lonely. Don't you hear them?" Alina paused with her coffee cup halfway to her lips. "The walls don't make sounds, Zara. Maybe you were just having bad dreams." But Zara shook her head. "Everything here is so quiet. On my planet, everything talks to each other. The rocks, the trees, the water. Here nothing speaks. It makes me feel empty inside." Alina felt a wave of sympathy. She tried to imagine what it would be like to suddenly lose the ability to hear music or to see colors. For Zara, coming to the human station must feel like going deaf and blind at the same time. "Maybe we can find ways to make you feel more comfortable," Alina suggested. "Would you like to see the observation deck? You can look out at the stars there." Zara's skin brightened slightly. "Yes, I'd like that." They finished breakfast and headed to the observation deck. It was a large room with floor-to-ceiling windows that showed the vast emptiness of space. Stars twinkled in the distance, and Alina could see the curve of a nearby planet. But as soon as they entered the room, something strange happened. Lights began to flicker, just like they had in the laboratory. Zara's skin turned bright yellow, and she started making that humming sound again. "Zara, what's wrong?" Alina asked. But the alien girl was staring at the control panels near the windows. "The machines are in pain," Zara said, her voice getting louder. "They're working so hard, but no one thanks them. No one talks to them." Before Alina could stop her, Zara walked over to the main control panel and placed her hands on it. Immediately, sparks began flying from the circuits. The lights went out completely, and emergency lighting kicked in. "Zara, stop," Alina shouted, but it was too late. The alien girl's natural electrical abilities were interfering with the station's systems. Alarms started blaring throughout the entire facility. Alina grabbed Zara's arm and pulled her away from the control panel. "You can't touch the machines like that. You're hurting them more than helping them." Zara's skin turned deep purple, and tears started flowing down her face. "I was just trying to make them feel better," she sobbed. "Why is everything so complicated?" Here, security guards rushed into the room, followed by Dr. Williams and several other senior staff members. They took one look at the smoking control panel and the flickering lights, and Alina could see anger building in their faces. "This is the second incident in 2 days," Dr. Williams said coldly. "Alina, I thought you had this situation under control." Alina felt her cheeks burn with embarrassment. "She's still learning our ways, sir. She doesn't mean to cause trouble. Tent doesn't matter when it comes to safety," Dr. Williams replied. "If she can't control her abilities, she's a danger to everyone on this station." The engineering team arrived and began working on the damaged systems. Alina overheard one of them saying it would take hours to repair everything. Other researchers were gathering in the hallway, whispering to each other and looking worried. For the rest of the day, Alina tried to keep Zara away from any sensitive equipment. But it seemed like everywhere they went, something went wrong. In the library, Zara's emotions made the computer screens flicker. In the recreation room, her presence caused the music system to play strange, distorted sounds. By evening, Alina was exhausted. She had received 3 more complaints from other researchers about power fluctuations in their work areas. The station's chief engineer had warned her that if the electrical problems continued, it could affect life support systems. The worst part was seeing how sad Zara had become. The alien girl's skin stayed a dull gray color all afternoon, and she barely spoke to anyone. Alina could tell she was trying her best to be good, but her natural abilities kept causing problems without her meaning too. That night, Alina sat in her office, researching Viridian culture again. She found a small mention of something called harmony enforcement, a way that Zara's people helped their young ones learn to control their abilities. But the description was vague, and Alina wasn't sure if it would work for humans. She also discovered that young Viridians were never separated from their community. They lived in groups where everyone could communicate telepathically, sharing thoughts and feelings constantly. For Zara, being alone among humans must feel like being trapped in complete silence. As Alina read more, she began to understand that Zara's behavior wasn't really misbehavior at all. The alien girl was homesick, scared, and desperately trying to connect with a world that couldn't communicate with her the way she was used to. But understanding the problem and solving it were 2 different things. Alina knew that if she couldn't find a way to help Zara control her abilities soon, the exchange program would be cancelled. Zara would be sent back to her planet, and the chance for humans and Viridians to understand each other would be lost. Alina made a decision. Tomorrow, she would try something different. She would find a way to help Zara feel more at home while still teaching her the rules she needed to follow. It was a difficult balance, but Alina believed it was possible. She just hoped she could figure out how before anyone got hurt. Alina didn't sleep well that night. She kept thinking about everything that had gone wrong and wondering if she was the right person for this job. When her alarm went off at 6 in the morning, she felt like she hadn't slept at all. She found Zara in the dining hall again, but this time the alien girl wasn't alone. 3 other researchers were sitting at nearby tables, but they were all facing away from her. Alina could hear them whispering to each other, and she caught words like dangerous and should go home. Zara's skin was an even darker gray than yesterday, almost black in some places. She was picking at her food, but not really eating it. When she saw Alina approaching, she looked up with eyes that seemed to be filled with pain. "They're all afraid of me," Zara said quietly. "I can feel their fear. It makes everything worse." Alina sat down and tried to sound cheerful. "They're just not used to someone with your abilities. Give them time to understand." But even as she said it, Alina knew it wasn't that simple. Other researchers weren't just curious or nervous anymore. They were genuinely scared. Alina was starting to understand why. After breakfast, Alina decided to take Zara to the quietest part of the station, the observation lounge, where people went to relax. She thought maybe if they stayed away from all the electronic equipment, nothing could go wrong. They had been there for maybe 10 minutes when Dr. Williams came in with 2 security guards. His face was serious, and Alina's heart sank. "Alina, I need to speak with you privately," he said. Alina looked at Zara, who was staring out the window at the stars. "Can it wait? Having a good morning so far?" "No, it can't wait." "Doctor." Williams gestured to the security guards. "Please watch our guest while I talk to Dr. Rodriguez." They walked to the other side of the room, but Alina could still see Zara from the corner of her eye. The alien girl's skin was turning red, which meant she was getting upset. "Alina, I've been getting reports all morning," Dr. Williams said. "The power fluctuations from yesterday affected more than just the observation deck. 3 research projects lost data because of electrical surges. The medical bay's equipment is still acting up, and now the navigation systems are showing strange readings." Alina felt her stomach drop. "The navigation systems? But Zara hasn't been anywhere near them. Her electrical field is stronger than we thought," Dr. Williams explained. "It's affecting systems throughout the station, even when she's not directly touching them." Alina glanced over at Zara, who was now pressing her hands against the window.
Ow.
The glass was starting to glow with a soft blue light. "Sir, I think I know what's happening," Alina said quickly. "On her planet, everything is connected. She's trying to communicate with our technology the same way she would with things at home, if I could just have more time to work with her." But Dr. Williams shook his head. Alina, I admire your dedication, but this has gone beyond cultural differences. She's becoming a safety risk. Suddenly, alarms started blaring again. Alina spun around to see Zara standing in the middle of the room, her skin flashing bright red and orange. The lights were flickering wildly, and Alina could hear electronic equipment shorting out in other parts of the station. "What's happening to her?" one of the security guards asked, backing away. Alina rushed over to Zara. "What's wrong? What do you feel?" Zara's eyes were wide with terror. "Something's coming," she whispered. "Something big and dangerous." Metal walls are screaming about it. Lena didn't understand what she meant until she heard Dr. Williams shouting into his communication device. "All hands, emergency stations. We have an asteroid field ahead that wasn't showing up on our sensors." Alina realized that Zara's electrical abilities weren't just disrupting their systems, they were also somehow detecting things that human technology couldn't see. The alien girl had sensed the asteroid field before their instruments did. Instead of being helpful, Zara's panic was making everything worse. Her electromagnetic field was now so strong that lights were exploding in the ceiling. The security guards' radios were crackling with static, and Alina could smell something. Burning. "Zara, you need to calm down," Alina said, but the alien girl was beyond hearing her. She was caught in a feedback loop of fear and electrical energy. Alina made a decision that would change everything. She remembered reading about the Viridian harmony enforcement technique. It was risky, and she wasn't sure if it would work, but she had to try something. "Computer, activate emergency containment field around this location," she called out. A shimmering barrier appeared around Zara, cutting off her electromagnetic field from the rest of the station. The flickering lights stopped, and the alarms grew quieter. But Zara collapsed to the floor, her skin turning completely white. "What did you do?" Dr. Williams demanded. "I created a dampening field," Alina explained. "It's based on something her people use to help young ones learn control. But I don't know if it will work the same way for her." Alina knelt down beside the containment field. Zara was curled up on the floor, shivering. Skin was so pale. It was almost transparent. "I'm sorry," Alina said softly. "I know this is scary, but you have to learn to control your abilities. People could get hurt if you don't." Zara looked up at her with tears in her eyes. "I don't know how," she whispered. "At home, my family helps me. Here, I'm all alone." Alina felt her heart breaking. She realized that what she had thought was discipline was actually the cruelest thing she could do to someone from Zara's culture. Viridians were never meant to be alone. "You're not alone," Alina said firmly. "I'm here with you. We'll figure this out together." But even as she said it, Alina could see Dr. Williams talking to the security guards. She could tell by their body language that they were making plans she wouldn't like. The next few hours would determine whether the first contact between humans and Viridians would be remembered as a success or a disaster. Alina was determined to make sure it was a success, even if it meant risking her own career. She just hoped she could help Zara learn to live in a human world before it was too late. Alina sat outside the containment field for 3 hours, watching Zara curl up in the corner like a frightened animal. The alien girl's skin had stopped changing colors completely. It just stayed that frightening white color that made her look sick. Dr. Williams had left to deal with the asteroid field crisis. But Alina could tell he was planning to send Zara home as soon as it was safe to do so. Other researchers kept walking by and staring through the observation windows, whispering to each other about what had happened. "This isn't working," Alina said to herself. She had thought the containment field would help Zara calm down, but instead it seemed to be making her worse. Alina realized she had made a terrible mistake. She called Dr. Peterson, the station psychologist, hoping he might have some ideas. When he arrived, he took one look at Zara and shook his head. "Lena, you can't keep her isolated like this," he said. "Look at her body language. She's shutting down completely." "But if I turn off the field, her electromagnetic abilities will disrupt the station again," Alina replied. Dr. Williams made it clear that can't happen. Dr. Peterson studied Zara for a moment. "What if we found a way to give her some of what she needs while keeping the field up? You said her people are always connected to each other, right?" Alina nodded. "They share thoughts and feelings constantly." Being alone is like torture. For them, then maybe the solution isn't to isolate her more, but to help her feel less alone. That gave Alina an idea. She remembered reading that Viridians could connect with certain types of plants and crystals from their home world. The station had a small collection of alien specimens in the research lab, including some samples from Zara's planet. Computer, can you modify the containment field to allow specific objects to pass through? Alina asked. Modification possible, the computer replied. What objects do you wish to allow? Alina hurried to the research lab and found a small crystal formation that had been collected from Viridian years ago. It was about the size of her hand and glowed with a soft blue light. She also found some seeds from Viridian plants that were stored in the specimen collection. When she returned to the containment field, Zara was sitting up, looking at her with curiosity. For the first time in hours, her skin showed a hint of color, a pale green that Alina had learned meant hope. I brought you something from home, Alina said. Holding up the crystal, Zara's eyes widened, and her skin immediately became brighter. A heartstone, she whispered. I haven't seen one since I left my planet. Alina carefully passed the crystal through the modified field. As soon as Zara touched it, the crystal began to glow brighter, and her skin returned to its normal rainbow of colors. She held it close to her chest and closed her eyes. It remembers the songs of my people, Zara said softly. I can hear them through the stone. Alina felt relief wash over her. This was the first time Zara had looked truly happy since arriving at the station, but Alina knew they needed more than just a temporary solution. Zara, I need to understand something, Alina said, sitting down outside the field. When you touch our machines, what are you trying to do? Zara thought for a moment. At home, everything talks to each other. The machines, the plants, even the buildings. They tell us when they're happy or sad, when they need help, or when they're working too hard. When I touch your machines, I'm trying to listen to them. But our machines don't talk the way yours do, Alina explained. They're not alive like the things on your planet. I know that now, Zara said. But they still have energy flowing through them. I can feel when that energy is struggling or when it's flowing smoothly. When I try to help, I think I'm making it better, but I'm actually making it worse. Alina began to understand. Zara wasn't trying to break things. She was trying to heal them. Her electromagnetic abilities were like a medicine that worked on Viridian technology but was poison to human systems. What if we could teach you to use your abilities differently? Lena asked. What if instead of trying to fix our machines, you learn to work with them in a way that helps instead of hurts? Zara's skin turned a hopeful yellow. You would still want me to use my abilities, even after all the trouble I've caused? Your abilities aren't the problem, Alina said. The problem is that we don't understand each other yet, but we can learn. Over. The next few hours, Alina worked with Zara to develop a new approach. Instead of trying to communicate with the machines directly, Zara learned to use her abilities to detect problems before they happened, like she had done with the asteroid field. Alina set up a simple test. She asked the engineering team to create a small electrical problem in a non-critical system. Then she had Zara try to sense the problem without touching anything. It worked. Zara could feel the disruption in the electrical flow and point to exactly where the problem was located. The engineers were amazed that it had taken them hours to find the same problem using their instruments. This is incredible, Dr. Peterson said. She's like a living diagnostic tool. But Alina knew the real breakthrough wasn't Zara's abilities. It was the fact that they were finally communicating. For the first time, Zara understood why the humans had rules. And the humans understood why Zara had been struggling. Dr. Williams returned from dealing with the asteroid crisis and found Alina and Zara working together peacefully. Zara was still inside the containment field, but she was happy and cooperative. How did you do it? He asked Alina. I stopped trying to make her be like us, Alina replied. Instead, I started looking for ways we could work together. Alina knew they still had a long way to go. Zara would need time to fully adjust to human society, and the humans would need time to understand Viridian culture. But for the first time since Zara arrived, Alina felt hopeful. The containment field was still active, but it no longer felt like a prison. It felt like a bridge between two worlds, helping them learn to understand each other one step at a time. 3 months had passed since that difficult day in the containment field, and Alina could hardly believe how much had changed. She was sitting in the station's main conference room, watching Zara demonstrate her abilities to a group of visiting officials from Earth. The alien girl's skin was a confident blue-green color, and she was explaining how she could detect electrical problems before they became dangerous. The energy flows in patterns, Zara was saying, her voice calm and clear. When I feel a disruption in the pattern, I can tell you exactly where to look for the problem. One of the officials, a stern woman in a military uniform, looked skeptical. And you can do this without touching anything? Zara smiled. Watch this. She closed her eyes and held her hands about 6 inches away from a control panel. After a moment, she pointed to a specific section. There's a small short circuit developing in the third relay from the left. It's not causing problems yet, but it will within a few hours. The station's chief engineer checked his instruments and then looked up in amazement. She's right. The readings show a minor fluctuation that we would have missed until it became a major problem. Alina felt proud watching Zara succeed. It had taken weeks of careful practice, but they had finally found a way for Zara to use her natural abilities to help instead of harm. The containment field had been removed long ago, replaced by a special bracelet that helped Zara control her electromagnetic output. After the demonstration, Alina walked with Zara to the observation deck where they often went to talk. It was the same place where everything had gone wrong months ago, but now it was one of their favorite spots. I'm proud of you, Alina said. You've come so far. Zara's skin showed a warm pink glow. Couldn't have done it without you. When I first arrived, I thought humans were cold and unfriendly, but you showed me that you were just being careful, not mean. Alina looked out at the stars. I learned a lot too. I used to think that having rules and following them exactly was the most important thing. But now I understand that sometimes the best solutions come from finding new ways to work together. Their conversation was interrupted by Dr. Williams, who was carrying a tablet with an official-looking document on it. Alina, I have some news from the Cultural Exchange Committee on Earth. Alina felt nervous. The committee had been reviewing the program for weeks, deciding whether to continue or cancel it based on what had happened during Zara's visit. They want to expand the program, Dr. Williams announced with a smile. They're calling it the Rodriguez-Esara Protocol, and they want to use it as the standard approach for all future alien exchanges. Alina's eyes widened. They're naming it. After us? Your work with Zara has become a model for how to handle cultural differences in space, Dr. Da, Williams explained. Instead of trying to make aliens act like humans, the new protocol focuses on finding ways for different species to work together using their natural abilities. Zara's skin turned a brilliant gold color. Does this mean more of my people can come here? Not just your people, Doctor, Williams replied. We're planning exchanges with 3 other alien species, and we want both of you to help train the humans who will be working with them. Alina felt overwhelmed. What had started as a disaster had somehow turned into a success. That would help humans and aliens understand each other for years to come. Over the next few weeks, Alina and Zara worked together to create training materials for other researchers. They wrote detailed guides about how to recognize when alien behavior that seemed problematic was actually just different cultural expressions. They developed new techniques for helping aliens adapt to human environments without losing their natural abilities. The most important thing they shared was the lesson Alina had learned the hard way, that understanding someone from a different culture required patience, creativity, and the willingness to change your own approach. The biggest mistake humans make, Alina explained to a group of new researchers, is assuming that our way of doing things is the only right way. Every species has developed different solutions to the same basic problems. Instead of trying to force everyone to be the same, we should learn from our differences. Zara added her own perspective, and the biggest mistake my people would make is assuming that humans don't care about each other just because they don't share thoughts telepathically. Humans show caring in different ways, but it's just as real. As Zara's time at the station came to an end, Alina felt sad but also hopeful. They had proven that humans and aliens could not only coexist, but actually help each other become better. On Zara's last day, she gave Alina a special gift, a small heartstone like the one that had helped her feel connected to home. "This will let you hear some of the songs from my planet," she said. "Whenever you hold it, you'll remember that being different doesn't mean being wrong." Lena watched Zara's transport ship disappear into the starry darkness, knowing that this was just the beginning. Soon, other alien visitors would arrive, and Alina would be ready to help them find their place in the human world while staying true to their own nature. The cultural exchange program had almost failed, but instead, it had become something better than anyone had imagined. Alina had learned that the best way to help someone wasn't to change them, but to understand them. And sometimes, the most important thing you could do was simply refuse to give up on someone, even when everyone else thought it was hopeless. As she held the heart stone and listened to the faint alien melodies within it, Alina knew that the future of human-alien relationships was bright. It would take patience, understanding, and lots of hard work, but it was possible for different species to become friends. The stars seemed to twinkle a little brighter that night, as if they were celebrating the beginning of a new chapter in the story of life in the universe.